Welcome to day 4 of happiness. Now, over the last few days, we've been looking at the support of kindness. Today, we're going to shift that to the support of empathy. If you think about it, empathy is a really obvious one when we're looking at how to create the right conditions for happiness in our mind. There has to be a sense of shared experience with those around us. Otherwise, we're always going to feel very isolated. It's a very different experience from happiness. So it's really important when we're talking about empathy to differentiate empathy from, let's say, sympathy or pity, perhaps, which if we focus too much on will leave us feeling even more unhappy rather than creating the conditions for happiness. So empathy is more where we put ourselves in somebody else's situation and not thinking too much about it, really just sharing their experience, getting a sense of what it is they're going through. And with that, even though it can be difficult sometimes, comes a sense of contentment, knowing that we're doing everything we can in our mind to help that person. So with that in mind, just take a moment now, get comfortable, and when you're ready, just taking some nice big deep breaths. And with the next out breath, just closing the eyes as you just start to become a bit more familiar with the space around you now. Starting with the weight of the body and that contact with the body and the chair, body and the floor. And as you sit there, you've probably already started to notice how the body feels today, how it feels right now, where the areas of comfort or discomfort might be. Just take the time now to scan down through the body, just building up a picture of how the body feels, and at the same time just starting to notice the mood of the mind today. And just pausing for a moment now, just to be clear before we continue your intention for this exercise. So important to be clear about why you're doing what you're doing. If you're clear, you'll never have any difficulties in finding the time to sit and do this exercise. And generally speaking, you'll find it much more effective as well. And now just shifting that focus back to the body as you just start to become more familiar, a rising and falling sensation, and just resting the mind on that feeling. And as you continue to follow the breath, every time the mind wanders off, just gently bringing the attention back again. As you just notice again that pinprick of light, a speck of sunlight in the middle of the chest, the middle of the body. This time full of the sense of the potential, empathy, compassion, whatever word you like to use for this. Just expanding outwards, and in relationship to yourself, that increasing sense of empathy is reflected in an easing of any tension, a letting go of any difficult thoughts or emotions, the softening of the body, of the mind, as it just continues to expand outwards. You're just watching it, imagining that it fills every single last corner of the body. And it continues to expand outwards now beyond boundaries of the body. You can even imagine as though it's starting to affect those around you. You can imagine friends or your family, almost like a wave of empathy going outwards, just bringing with it a greater sense of ease for people, letting go of difficult thoughts and emotions, just expanding outwards as far as the mind can imagine. Remember, the moment you realize the mind's wandered off, no problem, but as soon as you realize it has, just bringing the attention back to the breath, noticing that feeling, that quality of spaciousness and appreciation in the mind. And when the mind can't go any wider, just letting go of that image, letting go of any focus, as you just let the mind be free. And just bringing the attention back to the body once again now, back to the space around you, the sounds, the sensations, smells as you just open the eyes again, noticing how you feel, noticing how that's perhaps different from when you began today. Clear in your intention. Carry with you this sense of awareness, this sense of empathy throughout the day today. And just remembering that in any difficult situation throughout the day, by turning the mind outwards and just for a moment thinking about how somebody else might be having difficulty with something, how it just softens the mind. It takes the heat out of the situation. It makes us feel less isolated in that difficulty, and we start to experience this shared sense of human experience. I'll see you back here tomorrow for day 5.